Chelsea Hackett, thank you for being on the show. It's a pleasure to have you on the MMA Complex. How's your day going so far?
Yeah, I'm really good. Super busy. But thank you so much, guys, for working around me. And yeah, I'm super excited to be on your show.
Yeah, no problem. I know we were talking about it. You're a day ahead. It's 12 in the afternoon on a Wednesday.
Yeah, 12:20 on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's 7 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah, Josh and I are stuck in the
yeah,
past.
Yeah. How's tomorrow? What's tomorrow look like?
yeah.
But we're talking about your schedule. How busy you're. It's not even 12 noon over there yet, and you still had almost like a whole day's work done. Classes, courses, and training, and everything.
Yeah, no, it's pretty hectic. I run my own business, so I'm a personal trainer, group fitness instructor, and juggling that pretty much full time as well as being a full time athlete. Yeah. It gets pretty tough, especially in fight camps. But because I'm lucky that I have some help. Like my mom helps me out a lot when I'm deep in fight camp. But other than that, I kind of just take it all on myself. And yeah, I guess it kind of teaches. Well, it gives me great work ethic. So
awesome.
Yeah, I'm always working, whether it's training or teaching other people.
And how's it been for you running a business and a gym and training during like a pandemic? Is it affected you much?
Well, I was worried. I thought as soon as it hit, I was like, shit, gyms are closing down. This is going to be pretty hectic. But literally within 24 hours of COVID hitting, and me starting, I fully went online with my coaching, and I worked that out in a 24-hour time frame, and I had the girls just training through it. We were doing Zoom every day. Awesome. I was doing at-home programs for clients, and I was actually still really busy. Yeah. But I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed having some more sleep and some more sleep-ins. It was a good break for me. But yeah, at the same time, it didn't actually affect me as much as I thought it would. So I'm pretty happy and lucky in that way that I got the ball rolling a lot faster than other people, I think, when I jumped online. And I actually, when COVID hit us, I'd just come off a fight. So I think it was 10 days after my last fight, COVID hit, and it was almost like the world saying to me, okay, you can have a break now.
That's perfect time.
Reward, yeah.
It was. I actually needed it for my body, and it sucks that it takes my MMA gym to close to kind of chill out a bit, but if that's what happens.
It takes the world to shut down in order for you to take a break.
Yeah, for sure. So my body loved that that little break that I got. So yeah, it was good.
And speaking of fight camp, I'm assuming this one's a very important one because I see you wearing the UFC fight gear. So it was announced that you're going to be on the next Contender Series. Tell us about your journey going to the UFC.
It was so funny. Leading up to this podcast, I was like, do I talk about it? What do I do? Because I actually haven't fully announced it on my social media yet. But yeah, this is.
Give us a scoop, man. Give us a scoop.
Yeah, well, this is a huge camp for me. My last fight was super important for me. I really needed to win that fight to gain a spot on the Contender Series, and I did that. And then COVID hit, which kind of put it all on the sideline a little bit. No one really knew what was going on. I actually had a date in July, so it was supposed to be this month. And then, COVID hit, everything got pushed back. There was a stage where we didn't even think Contender was going to go ahead. So it was a little bit of a mind kind of shit thing going on with me. And then we got confirmation at the end of last week. I've got a date. I've got an opponent. Hopefully everything goes well with, the whole COVID situation and we clear that up so it does go ahead. But so new day.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. And I know you've been, wanting to go to the UFC, that's your end goal for a lot of fighters as well. So talk about this fight camp being different from previous fight camps, because this is a big opportunity for you to go to the big leagues of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, 100%. For me, whenever I do a fight camp, I always like commit 110%. I've got great coaches. I'm just all in every camp, and this camp is obviously going to be no different.
Yeah.
But I've just got this big thing at the end of it that like will just drive me so much more through this camp.
Yeah.
I'm a really I'm a very self-motivated person. I don't need to be motivated. I can kind of do that myself. But I think having, this fight as I can potentially have a UFC contract at the end of it is just going to give me that extra push through a camp. So, we're going to work specifically to my opponent. And just business as usual, but with a better prize at the end.
Yeah, you gave me goosebumps with that story. It's freaking awesome.
I know. I can't believe it's happening. Like, I'm so excited.
Yeah,
and it's been a long time coming. I know you had one fight that was going to be televised on Fight Pass, and then that got canceled. And I know you're upset about that. And then you got this last fight got rescheduled, and then you ended up having a good showing.
Yeah.
Now you have a date set. Do you know the date?
6th of October.
6th of October. Okay, nice. Great.
So it's actually it's week 10, so I'm pretty sure it's the last one.
Yeah, because they're going to start I think August, September-ish, and then they're going to go into October.
It starts 4th of August.
Okay.
And then at the moment the last date is the 6th of October, and that's when I'm on.
That's great. At least you got some time. You got some time to prepare.
Yeah.
And are you going to
stay COVID free? That's the biggest thing.
I know, right?
You don't want that shit ruining it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And same with my opponent. Like, I'm kind of like, she's from Brazil, so I'm just like,
oh man, they're fucked over there, dude.
Yeah. Jesus Christ,
it's like a backup.
It's like China over there, man.
Yeah. China, but I'm so excited. Because we didn't know a date, and I was, training through and trying to stay ready. It's it's hard for fighters as well because we have to cut weight. So if we don't have a time frame, we don't and my dietitian needs a time frame. So in my head, I was kind of thinking like 6 to 8 weeks I had to play with, and then we got the date and it's like 12 weeks, so it's perfect.
Oh, even better.
4 weeks.
So good.
Yeah.
And speaking of time, are you gonna come out to the US sooner than that to get kind of acquainted to the time zone and everything?
Yeah, definitely climatize, all of that. So we're looking at, depending when the UFC actually fly us out, we're thinking we want to be there 10 days before. And if it's less than that, then me and my dad will just go over earlier and, climatize, do quarantine, whatever we have to do over there, but then have a solid week of good training before the fight. This will be my first time like traveling that far and backing up with a fight. So I want to make sure that I don't leave it too late, and I'm not going to know how I feel. I have to cut when I'm there. So all of those things to take into consideration. But we'll definitely come over earlier.
That's very exciting, but also very, very stressful. I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah. And I think because of what's going on in the world, it's like just that added stress. And
those last few weeks, you want to make sure that you have the right people, the healthy people around you, because that could ruin everything if you want to.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got to keep my camp super tight.
Yeah.
And just only work with who I need to work with. So we've got to be super careful with that. Even if we do come over to the States, I'm not going to train in a new gym with new people, because that's just going to expose me to that sort of thing. So, we have to keep it super tight, but we'll be ready and we'll be organized for it.
You said your dad was going to join you. Is he going to be there? Because I know I'm probably they're going to limit to 1 or 2 people in your corner. Is that your dad's going to be official?
Yeah, my dad is like my number one. Like, he's definitely he's definitely there. My dad's coached me since I was probably, I'd say 11 or 12.
Wow.
He's officially started coaching me since then. I did Taekwondo before that period. And then when I finished Taekwondo, I transitioned to like a street fighting. It's called Chinese boxing. So street close range fighting. And my dad ran that like as a class. So he was the trainer and teacher. And when I was like 12, I jumped into that. And from then on, he's like been one of my like closest coaches. So yeah, it's not just my dad. He's the one that talks to me in the corner.
Right. That's awesome. You know, and watching you fight, like you can, cause you like a taekwondo background, like your kicks. You have some pretty sick kicks. I love the way you transition your kicks, and I mean everything about your fighting style is awesome. Like you're aggressive. Your elbows in the clinch, they're amazing. It's pretty cool. But you know what? Like, what's that?
Yeah, you go. I was just about to say that's like my Muay Thai coming out in there.
For sure. Yeah. Now, explain how a 12-year-old girl like gets into taekwondo and not something else.
What was that?
Oh, like explain to us how a 12-year-old girl like goes into taekwondo,
not like soccer,
softball, or whatever.
So yeah, I was actually 8 when I started taekwondo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was like a family thing. So myself and my brother both started, and I was terrible. Like, ask my parents. Like, because in taekwondo you do like really light contact sparring.
Yeah.
And I would just not have a bar of it. I would cry after each session. Like, I was like pretty bad in like the first few like belts. But I'm so grateful that like mum and dad didn't pull me out, and they let me go through that to then just get tougher. So then my mum and dad actually started as well. So we were all doing it together as a family sport sort of thing. And my dad got his black belt. Then he started being a coach at the Taekwondo academy sort of thing.
Wow.
Me and my brother got our junior black belts, and both my parents got their black belts. So we went the whole way.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, and it wasn't until, we all got to that stage and we're like, oh, well, like that's kind of done. I got to the point where I was so much tougher, and I ended up sparring way harder, and I was getting in trouble for like being too aggressive. That's when I started really like finding my aggression. It was probably that age, 11 and 12. And then I stopped taekwondo, and that's when Dad, I remember the night, like he's like, come to this Chinese boxing session, and I'll, hot pads for you and stuff, and we'll just move around. And he chucked a head guard on me, and partnered me up with a guy who was like my second brother at the time. We'd done taekwondo together, and we were both just doing this for the first time. We both had headgear on, and we just like belted each other. Like it was just like, and I think that's when Dad kind of like was like, holy fuck,
she's got something.
Like,
she's feisty.
She needs to let loose more, because in taekwondo you couldn't do that. So that was the night where it kind of all changed really, and I found this like fire in my belly, and then I did that for about, I'd say maybe 6 months, pretty consistently most days. Mum did the same, my brother did the same. We pretty much transitioned to that, and then I stepped foot into Boonchu Gym, Wayne and Angie Park on the Gold Coast, when I was still 12. So I'd done Chinese boxing for 6 months, and then I started transitioning into Muay Thai at 12 as well.
Wow.
And you obviously been very successful in Muay Thai champion. I love that photo with all the belts that you have.
The WBC belt.
Freaking amazing.
So it's freaking awesome picture of yourself.
And you're able to transition that into MMA, and then like you display your Muay Thai so well, and it's so aggressive, and then also you're not just a stand-up fighter. You have a wide range of skills. You have your ability to stay off your back, and you have to I think if people are going to look at your resume and be like, oh, she's just a Muay Thai girl, I'm going to take her down or something like that. Do you like that? Do you like that going into these fights?
I do. I really love like how these girls just like keep fucking up and like getting it wrong, because like seriously, like if that's what they tell themselves, and then their whole prep is just like they're like avoiding other parts of their game because they literally just think that I'm a stand-up fighter, and I don't have like the strength, and they can get me down, and I'm only 21. Like, and obviously I'm fighting women, so of course age comes into it. One of my last opponents she did a podcast before our fight and just said, oh, she's just a baby. Like if you're going to tell yourself that, of course you're going to get a shock when we fight. Like, you know what I mean? So like it's not good for them to put it in their heads, but it's good for me because like I learned from very the very start of my Muay Thai career to never underestimate my opponents. And there was one Muay Thai fight I had that really changed that for me. And I had that fight and I walked out of there and I was just like never will I underestimate the potential that my opponent could have. So I just think that in my transition to MMA, like it hasn't been easy. I've had to work like my ass
really hard
for it.
Right.
But I just feel like all my opponents to date have just taken that, you know what I mean, and just kind of been like, well, I've done it for longer, but like I've fought since I was 12. Like I had my first fight when I was 12. I'm not new to like the fighting game. Like I can control my nerves. I can like I've got experience in that sense, and like now I'm just learning so much more about MMA, like every training session, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, like, because obviously that's not my first, my first, what do you call it?
Discipline, your first,
My first thing, like I'll always be a striker. That's me. But I've found so much of my strength come into my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu, and it's definitely an advantage for me when my opponents underestimate me. Like I like that.
Right. And also another thing that I found really impressive about you is that most fighters who are your age, who hasn't made it to the UFC, they just focus on fighting. Where you have a strong social media game that kind of like let the fans see who you are and your story. And that's awesome. I think that's going to benefit you like in the future, especially with the UFC.
Very tech savvy too. Even with your own business, you're able to like switch it up real quick.
I mean, Josh and I were watching like your footage and we're super impressed. It's kind of like we got to know you as a person without even like before talking to you. So
that's so cool. I love
so it's really awesome. Yeah. Now, I have a question that's kind of like a bit serious, but not really, kind of funny. But being 12 years old and fighting, that make you like have boys kind of be intimidated by you as far as your dating life goes?
Yeah,
I'm sure you can kick everyone's ass. Kick up to you.
It's funny. Like through school, my school experience, I like from grade 7, so like probably grade 7 and lower, I was like the teacher's pet. Like I was really like, I wanted to get good grades, and like that's the thing I really cared about. And then I started fighting and I really found my groove with like being athletic and like being powerful and being strong as a woman. That definitely took over. And, grade 8, grade 9, like I just started to really just all I wanted to do was train. I'd have conversations with my mum and dad and be like, can I go to work later? Like, not work. Can I start school at like 10:30 so I can train in the morning? And at the start it was like, fuck no, like you're going to school, like do it. But then I think when they started to like see my work ethic and my potential, then it was like, okay, you can start school at 10. Like we eased our way into that. But
it's an investment.
And then I don't know about like guys at school would be very they would just make comments like, oh, you could I want to see you kick so-and-so's ass, and like just other boys, like just like that sort of banter. And it got to the point where I was so over it. Like I was just like, shut up. Like, because they had no idea what I did. Like, and it would just like frustrate me. And I had my first boyfriend when I was 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was 15.
Started young.
Yeah. And
it's a good age. It's a good age.
It's hard to like, I think he dealt, because obviously earlier on I was still kind of just doing it as a hobby.
Yeah.
I was still at school then. I now had a new boyfriend. I was training, but the one thing that I almost promised myself that I never do is neglect my training, because I've now got like this boyfriend that I can do like go to the movies with.
That's smart of you. Most kids at your age, that age would not have.
I couldn't have done that.
Yeah, I almost like literally promised myself that like I wouldn't do that, because I loved fighting so much.
Yeah.
And all the way through that relationship, like I trained every night. There was like, if I had to cut weight when I'm going for dinner, like that sort of stuff. And he was actually, he was great like that. Like he would understand, it was all good. The intimidation factor, like I think came in at the end when I started to win titles and I went to Worlds and won gold medal, like stuff like that. Like I started to see maybe it was too much.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
A 15, 16-year-old kid is not going to be able to, I don't know, process that and how to be mature and handle that.
Yeah.
That's
like
hard.
I think, like we were together for 4 years, so we were actually together for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I outgrew that. You know how you just outgrow things?
Yeah.
It's
life. Life happens.
Yeah, and I learned a lot from that relationship in the sense that I need someone that's like can handle it. Do you know what I mean? Like I need someone that's like that's strong enough to they see me like training and like fighting
and be okay with it, and not feel intimidated.
They can deal with it and they're chill with it, and that's what I needed. So my partner now is epic like that. He's older, so he's 26.
Okay.
And I think that comes into
a little
it
bit
too.
older.
He's a lot more mature. Like he, you know, because of his business, I think because we've got 2 separate lives, and then our relationship, we come together, and I think that's the most important thing.
What does he do?
Someone that has something as well.
What does he do?
He runs his own business. He's a videographer and a photographer.
Okay. Oh, he's the one that films you.
That's right. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's super like busy with that, and obviously that really gels with me.
That helps you a lot. Yeah.
We really like work well together as a team. So he's awesome. I don't think he's intimidated. He's fine.
That's good. That's good. You're self-confident.
Is there a wedding in the near future?
Pardon?
Is there a wedding?
We're getting personal.
Is there a wedding?
A wedding.
Ooh.
We'll see.
Let's see your hand. No ring. All right. Hey, I'm sure you listen to you right now. She wants a ring, so give her a ring.
Yeah. No, there's like, I'm still like 21. Sometimes I'm just like, I still can't believe I'm 21. Like, I just feel like
When's your birthday?
Next month. So
next month, 22. Hey.
Yeah.
With the UFC contract at the end. All right.
You know, it's so funny because before my MMA debut, I did a podcast, and before I even had an MMA fight, and the lady was like, okay, last question. Like, what's your goal and like time frame, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I want to be on the UFC roster by the time I'm 22. Like, that's just what I said. And it kind of like, I didn't overthink it. It just came out.
Yeah.
And now, in the position I am now, I'm like, holy
shit.
Like, I put that out into the universe, and now it's like happening.
It's a sign.
Yeah.
Just, just one more thing. When you get that UFC contract and you become rich and famous, don't forget about me and Josh. a lot of fighters go on the show, they become big, and they block us.
Yeah.
They come in early and then. Okay, great.
All right.
Cool. Yeah. Because I'll be over there a lot, see, so we can just.
Yeah. There you go.
Don't forget about it.
We're based in LA. You know, there's a lot of stuff out here. It's not open.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Pinky promise, cyber promise right here. All right.
And your well-rounded MMA stuff, is it hard to find training partners over where you're at, or is it you got some good quality training partners over there? Yeah,
well, girls, it's hard because the GC or Australia in general, like I swear there's only like, I think we've got 2 girls in the UFC, Aussie girls, Jessie Jess and Megan Anderson. And then outside of that, I'd swear there's like maybe 5 or 6 other girls that are active MMA fighters. Maybe not even. So the female pool is really small. But even through Muay Thai, I was always training with guys. Yeah. Not big guys my weight. So it was, even. But I'm so used to training with guys that like when I transitioned to MMA, it didn't change. It was still always guys. So I'm at Puma MMA on the Gold Coast, and like my main training partner is like Reese McLaren from One, so I work with him every day. Like we have like a tight fighters class, So I've got Reese McLaren, we've got Hawani, who's 10 amateur MMA fights. There's probably like 6 of us around the exact same weight, and we just work really well together. So
awesome.
It's awesome. It's awesome working with Reese. Like, he's just a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. And we're literally all the same weight, so it's perfect.
Do you know if you're going to get access to the UFC like the training facility? How are they going to? I think so,
I really
right?
hope so. Because is that a part of the Apex?
I think so.
It's the same vicinity as Apex.
Same area. Yeah.
So anybody that's fighting, quote unquote, for the UFC, they can use that at their disposal.
Yeah. So depends what COVID rules are like then. We might have to be we might have to train in our hotel room or whatever. But I think if we can, we would, because we're fighting in the Apex. So that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about training fighting with no crowd? Most likely, it's probably gonna be absolutely nobody.
Yeah, fine.
It's gonna be weird for you.
Different. Like, I've never fought no crowd. But,
no pressure though, right? No crowd, none of that drama.
I think I'm excited because you can hear so much more. Like, so I'm going to hear my corner more clearer. And like,
you hear their corner.
Their corner, exactly.
Yeah. Cheat to win.
And then like hearing the kicks and the punches, like I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you've landed a good one, you're like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
And this fight will be at 135, right?
Or 125.
125, 135. 125. And you're 5'8". Man, you're tall for that division.
No, I'm not 5'8". Where does it say I'm 5'8"?
I thought you were 5'8".
Where do we read it?
We read somewhere that you're 5'8".
I'm not 5'8".
Like he's told this lie and say you're 5'8". Now everyone knows you're not.
I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually 5'4".
Oh.
Yeah, so
it's still good height.
It's still good height.
I think that's average. Like,
I was just off by 4 inches.
Just 4 inches. Just 4.
No one's gonna notice.
Yeah.
But my last 2 opponents were super tall. Well, they were like taller than me. So.
Yeah.
And then the 2 before that were exactly my height. And then this next girl is my height exactly. Yeah. So.
And do you find it easier to fight girls like your height or taller than you?
The taller girls.
Taller.
Yeah, chop them down, chop the trees down.
Yeah, so like obviously my style and like Muay Thai is lots of kicks. Taller girls, like they obviously don't have like as good stability and like ground, like you know what I'm talking about.
They're too high up,
They're way too high up. So I find them really easy to trip, like catch a kick, take them down, stuff like that. And they also feel like lighter to me, so I feel like the stronger person in there. So I do like fighting tall girls, until there's a tall girl that like has really good fucking range. It like doesn't let me in, but I'm yet to find it yet. So my first MMA fight, that chick was so tough. Like she, it was hard because I felt like I was mauling her with my striking and she wasn't giving much back. But physically she was strong, like super strong.
Okay.
So yeah.
And what about your physical conditioning? Because it seems like you're physically like you're fit, you're strong, you have like
your legs are like tree trunks.
Your legs are like tree trunks.
Oh my god!
You know what I mean? It's just like
I couldn't even imagine getting kicked by you.
Your strength and conditioning has grown over time. It seems like your body has transformed, and you're become like a lot more like just fit and just like so. Yeah. Like, have you seen that progress? And how do you feel about that? Yeah, you're training.
Yeah, 100%. I started S&C when I was 16.
Yeah.
With my coach who I'm still with. So I've been with him for 5 years now. Coming up to 6, and we are just like always progressing. I'm always feeling like I'm, going forward. There's never like with my S&C, I never feel like I'm stagnant or going backwards, which is like really good for obviously your physical, but also your confidence.
Yeah.
I went to him when I had a loss in Muay Thai. So it was not a bad loss. Like it went 5 rounds, but the girl was so much bigger than me. Mm-hmm. And I was still only 16. So, like I wasn't like, I didn't have my woman's strength yet. Yeah. So I really felt that in the fight. And my dad just straight after that fight was like, we're going across the road to, it was called Momentum, and we're going to talk to the S&C coach there, and we'll get you doing some strength stuff. So as soon as that started, I haven't lost a fight since starting with him.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, it helped a lot.
So good. And yeah, I just feel like S&C is so important. Like, and I feel like especially in MMA, because you've not only got the striking, you have the wrestling, you got to have the wrestling defense, and like as much as like there's so much like technicality to it, you also like need to be strong as fuck. Like, you know what I mean? So we do a lot of like, hence why my legs are like hectically huge, because we just constantly.
It's not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
I just like, holy shit.
It is when I'm not cutting weight and they just fucking rub together. I mean, but yeah, we're just constantly working on having a strong base all the time, because if you've got a strong base, then like that fight 80% of the time is yours.
Yeah.
Now Josh and I will be watching your fight. You know, that night we'll be rooting for you with our fingers crossed. So after you win and they interview you, just say, hey, just give us a shout out. Say, hey, I'm in Complex. Hey, you guys are awesome. You guys give me confidence. Bullshit as much as you can, but this one gets put us out there if you can.
And your predictions and your future outlook has been pretty good. It's almost like a mystic, like Mac. What's your overall like
prediction for this fight?
Prediction for not for just this fight, but even afterwards. How you look at it, the UFC. You imagine yourself on a card. All that. What's your vision?
My vision is I would love to fight Valentina. Like, I would just love
that'd be
to
a
get
sick
there.
fight. Yeah,
and
that'd be a sick fight.
I really hope that like she doesn't retire too soon. Like, because obviously
she won't.
She's still relatively young.
Yeah,
she's still good. You got some time.
But I just I look at like, the flyweight division in the UFC, and like I'm watching the girls so closely, and it's almost like I'm always on the edge of my seat, like, oh, like I could so like do this and like really work my way up through the ranks and get to Valentina. And I don't want to, obviously there's no rush because I am so young, but at the same time I know that when I get there, like I'll be ready, like I'll be so ready. And I would just love the challenge and like just a fighter. Like, she's a fucking savage.
Yeah, she is.
But I also think like I have a very different style to a lot of female fighters. And it'd be so cool. And we've both got Muay Thai backgrounds. So.
Yeah. A fight that I want to see fight in the UFC is you and Angela Lee. That'd be a sick fight.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be a good one.
That'd be a sick fight.
I mean, I'm not going down the strawweight.
But I mean, I think it's good to take it slow, get some good wins get some highlight reel under your belt, and then
get that.
Let the UFC build you. I would build you. You don't want to rush too fast.
Really, just about to say that, and also like there's obviously Valentina's like the end kind of goal. But like my dream fight, like I would do it now, is Paige Van Zandt.
Beat her ass.
You're gonna be watching close. You're gonna be watching closely this weekend, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I seriously want to fight her, but I'm pretty sure this is her last UFC fight, and she might.
Yeah. Who knows? She might resign, but I don't.
I think we were talking about it on this episode. But I think if she loses, she's gonna have to really question a lot of things. I think if she wins, I say she resigns if she wins.
So I would love her to resign. And just wait, I'm coming.
If not, sign a one fight contract for Bellator and then go back to the UFC right after.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I think it's a fighter's like playing field right now. I think you have so many options, so many organizations right now. Obviously, most of them are on hold, so the UFC is the best option, and it's awesome that you even signed with them right now. But everything's in the fighter's favor. I think from all these organizations competing, Bellator, so many options, so many ways to make money, a name for yourself. So
true. I think like it's funny because you've got Bellator and but for some reason, like the UFC is just.
Oh,
like,
the UFC, no.
UFC.
It's the major leagues. So fighting.
It's the major leagues, and I think you're talented enough to. And
for sure.
While just watching your fights,
you're amazing.
You're UFC caliber for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so hopefully, at the end of it, like you have a UFC bout and a ring on your finger.
They're putting pressure on her man. They're putting pressure on her man.
He's in there. You have to step up, man. You have to step up.
That's so funny. We were talking about, like, I don't know when it was, but like Jake was like, "Oh, I'll propose to you when you win the belt."
Oh, hey, there it is. Hey, there it is.
I was like, imagine that. I was like, yeah, I'll get in the cage and like, oh
God. You get like fake tears.
I was like, so what if I don't? He's like, well,
next year.
Yeah.
So what do you, when you're not training, obviously your schedule's full of training and you know, not just yourself but others, but what do you do on your free time?
I love to shop.
Okay. Clothes,
I love
shoes,
going shopping. Oh, just everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Okay. Yeah.
Clothes. So yeah, I'll go shopping. Love the beach. I spend so much time at the beach. And yeah, that's about it. I have this thing. I'm going through this phase at the moment that I want to start dirt biking.
Okay.
Wow. There you go. Pro BMX here.
I know my partner has a dirt bike, and I'm like, oh, I want one for my birthday. Yeah. And my dad's just like, fuck no. Like, can you imagine if you like come off that thing? Like, I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You'll be the next
move.
You're just starting your career, your major league UFC career. You don't want to. Yeah.
Or do it. You'd be like the next female cowboy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, Cowboy Cerrone does it all the time. I guess I would be terrible at it. So let's not go there.
Okay. Yeah, listen to my ass.
Well, it's been great having you on. It's been great having you on. Guys. You enjoy the rest of your day. But first of all, let everybody know where to find you on social media. Yeah, how to find you and how to follow you.
So Instagram is Chelsea Hackett. So my full name's Chelsea, but everyone calls me Chels. So it's just Chelsea Hackett on Instagram, and then Facebook is the same, Chelsea Hackett. And I'm yet to get Twitter.
Your YouTube channel.
Your YouTube channel.
What is my YouTube channel?
I think it's Chelsea Hackett.
Yeah.
Wait, let me check. Is it Chelsea Hackett?
I think if you type in your name, it pops up. Yeah. So
that's a very entertaining channel. So subscribe.
Yeah, it's Chelsea.
Hey, there it is. Subscribe.
I actually have to add more videos to this.
Please do.
Oh, especially now. I think now would be a good time.
Yeah, we're actually going to document my whole camp. For
there
this.
You go.
There you go.
Like such a big fight, so we're going to.
And then it'll be like a new reality series.
Yeah.
Reality show. That'll be awesome.
Hanging with Ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I don't want to feed our ego or anything, but kind of rank this interview with like amongst the other ones that you've done. Like really rank the complex.
This would be like the top one, I reckon.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't done many. I've only done like a handful, but you guys are legends. So number one.
Hey, hey, no, it's a lie. No, he's done a lot, you guys. He's done like you gotta go through like 10 people to get through. So that's all right. Good.
All right. Thank you so much for being on. You enjoy the rest of your day. We look forward
to you guys.
Best of luck.
Training camp. All the best of luck in your career.
And don't forget about us.
We'll talk after the fight.
Yes. Remember, pinky promise. Don't forget.
After the win.
All right.
All right.
Cheers. Hey, bye.
Bye.
Bye.